The easiest way to make money in the NFL early in the season, simply pick the straight up winners. I'm not kidding. And I'll tell you why in just a moment. Hi everyone, Al DeMarco here, General Manager at DeMarcosports.com. I've got more complimentary plays for your Sunday NFL card coming up in just a moment. And listen guys, I couldn't have done anything more to make you money on Saturday than possibly maybe giving you the exact final scores days in advance. I mean, my best bet yesterday, how easy was that? As I cashed in with Syracuse, a 25-point chalk, winning by 41 over Western Michigan. And then here on the video report, now on a 64-39 roll with the complimentary plays, going 4-1, giving you Notre Dame, Cincinnati, Texas State winning outright as a 13.5-point dog. And then the gift from the gambling gods, Oregon. Guys, did you see how that game ended up? I mean, Texas Tech on a last chance desperation drive gets, the quarterback gets intercepted. The defensive lineman, instead of going down with the ball to run out the clock, he runs it back for the pick six. Listen, you're allowed to get covers that way. For as many times as we get beat, I don't want to hear that BS about, oh, they got lucky. If you had Oregon, you were lucky. Are you unlucky when you lose games like that? You're allowed to be lucky. It's gambling, for Christ's sake. So anyway, I've got more complimentary plays coming your way in just a moment. But let me just talk about what I just mentioned to you here earlier in the conversation. And by the way, don't forget, 1 day free all access pass. I'm going to talk about that in a moment too, because I have a play that matches the biggest of my career going today in the NFL. It is once again a rare 30-dime release. And guys, I've only had 16 of them. 16 of them. Over the past 22 years in college football. I had one 2 Saturdays ago with Tennessee destroying Virginia. I've got a 2 TD blowout, and it goes on the early card. You can get it for half price, or you can get it for free using that all-access pass. But first, let me get to what I promised. Okay, here's the deal, guys. About 15 years ago, I started looking at all the results of all the games. And I realized that if you could simply pick the straight-up winner of every game in the NFL, over the first about 10 to 13 weeks of the regular season, the straight-up winners covered anywhere between 86 and 93% of the games. Yes, that is a true fact. Now you're saying, my God, that is just so easy. Oh, is it? Yeah. Is it that easy to simply pick the straight-up winners? If it was, guys, you, me, and everybody else, we'd all be living in mega mansions. And I wouldn't be doing this for a living. I wouldn't be betting. You wouldn't be betting. And it would be that simple. But that is the truth. Simply picking the straight-up winners. Now, I mentioned that caveat. Generally speaking, somewhere around that 10 to 13 week mark of the regular season, that's where it generally goes south. But over the course of the season, you still end up somewhere in that 80 to 83% range. Now, if I could tell you that I could guarantee you that you would win 80 to 83% of your games over the course of the NFL season, you'd pay me whatever I asked. But again, it's not that easy sometimes to pick simply straight up winners, okay? But I will, as I have done each and every year for the last at least 12 years since I've been doing the video reports here for you, I will track them and we will see how they go. Now, I will tell you also, the last 2 seasons, that trend is actually carried almost all the way through right to the playoffs. So keep that in mind. Also, here we are, week number 1. As I always say, the opening weeks of the season, I don't care the sport or the season, you always have the advantage over the odds makers. That also holds tremendous weight here in the NFL because the preseason, I don't care if it was 4 games as it used to be or 3 games now, it's totally meaningless. So the odds makers don't know what to expect any more than you or I. So we have the advantage over them. That's why I found my best bet today on the card. I think the line is just ridiculous. Listen, you see half the coaches don't play any of their starters at all during these worthless preseason games, and the other guys give them maybe a couple of series, and that's all to run with. So, again, odds makers will always catch up usually in the NFL by week number 3, just like they will in college football, and they ultimately will retake that edge, but now is the time that we should strike. So with that being said, let's get to the first complimentary play, and I'll run these in reverse chronological order. If you're wondering about the Sunday night game, I think it's kind of an interesting game with the Giants and the Cowboys. I mean, it's been a one-sided affair as the Cowboys have certainly dominated, winning 11 of the last 12 meetings, including 4 straight. And Dak Prescott, as you know, I mean, he can't beat some teams. He looks awful against so many. But against the Giants, he's like a Hall of Famer. He's won 10 straight starts against them. But I actually like the Giants getting the 3.5 points. Now, listen, every game in the Northeast and along the East Coast today is going to be affected by rain, and this game at MetLife Stadium is no different, but they are playing on artificial turf. I just think the Giants, who were 11-3 ATS as a dog last year, and 14-5 overall as a dog, against the spread, I just think this is a great spot to take Big Blue in this game. I like the Giants plus the 3.5 points. Now, on the mid-afternoon card, the game that I debated about making my best bet today was going to be my hometown team, and that was going to be the Eagles. And I'll tell you something, it really sucks today. Just a little personal observation here. It sucks. Finally, YouTube TV, which I've had for years, they get the Sunday ticket. I immediately subscribe. I'm thinking, I'm going to be able to sit here and watch the Eagles finally today. And don't I have to fly to Ohio State today because I start chemotherapy tomorrow for my leukemia? I'll be on the plane. I'm not going to be able to watch the damn game. It sucks. Anyway, I like Philadelphia today. Minus the points at New England. I think this line is atrocious. I thought Philadelphia should be at least a touchdown favorite here. But, you know, it's that Bill Belichick thing. You know, play Belichick as a home dog, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. I think the Eagles have the best offense in the NFL. Yes, in the NFL. You saw the Chiefs on Thursday night. I don't even care if Travis Kelce was playing. The Chiefs offense, yeah, I know they got Patrick Mahomes, blah, blah, blah. I think the Eagles are better. And I think the Eagles made a wise choice in going and bolstering their ground game, bringing in DeAndre Swift from the Lions. I think Rashard Penny could be a contributor too, if he stays healthy. But this is a damn good offensive team. The Patriots are not a good offensive team, as we've seen. I don't think bringing in Bill O'Brien to change things up, third offensive coordinator, in 3 years for Mac Jones, it's not going to be the solution immediately right out of the gate. And I like Philadelphia here. It's a damn cheap price. And again, when I rate these plays at the end of this video report, keep this in mind. Philadelphia was close to being that ultra rare 30-dime release. And again, you can get that play for half price today using the coupon code RARE, R-A-R-E, or you can take advantage of the one-day free all-access pass, which you can get my best bet in all the plays of all the handicappers for free. Normal price is $109. If you've never used it before, you can get all the plays of all the handicappers for free today over at DeMarcosports.com. You see it at the bottom of the page. Okay, your next play, also on the late afternoon card, I like the Chargers, minus the 3 at home against Miami. Of course, the Chargers won last year at home as a 3-point underdog, if memory serves me correct, 23-13. Dominated that game, really, 24-14 advantage in first downs, 432 yards versus 219 from Miami. Kellen Moore, the new offensive coordinator for San Diego, so I think you're going to see a more balanced attack. They might actually run the ball in this one. And, Chargers 7-2-2 against the spread in their last 11 season openers. I know Miami's made some investments. I know Miami's going to be able to move the ball. I think Miami has the better defense. But listen, the Chargers last year were just devastated by so many injuries, as was Miami at times too. But I just don't think the Dolphins are going to be able to run the ball effectively. And I like the Chargers here in the spot again. When that line crosses 3, 4, 6, or 7, and sometimes 10, I am always buying down the half point with the favorite. So in this case, I'm buying down the half point with LA. On the earlier card, Washington, minus 7 at home. It is going to rain, probably a good inch of rain. And remember, FedEx Field is a grass turf. It's going to be hot and humid as well. Between 10 and 1, about an inch of rain expected there. And you're probably going to have an inch of rain during the course of the game as well. Eric Bieniemy, the new offensive coordinator, Sam Howell, the new quarterback for Washington, Ron Rivera, better win this season, will probably be the ex-coach of the Commanders. Arizona bringing in Jonathan Gannon. I thought he was a lousy defensive coordinator for Philadelphia. I don't know what he's going to do as a coach. And in terms of their quarterback, reportedly it's going to be Josh Dobbs with Clayton Tune, the rookie out of Houston, their backup. Listen, Arizona's going to be tanking this year. Why wouldn't they want to tank? Yeah, Kyler Murray's eventually going to come back, but this is a bad team. Washington -7. I think they're going to win this like 27-10 today. So I'm going with the Commanders in this spot. Also on the early card, I like Minnesota -5.5 at home against Tampa. Tampa last year had a lot of injuries, but they still had Tom Brady. Well, this year they don't have as much talent, and now they have Baker Mayfield. Do I really have to go further here? Minnesota brought in a new defensive coordinator, Brian Flores, and listen, they've got to get back to being a good defensive club that they were a few years ago. He is a very aggressive defensive coordinator, and Baker Mayfield has never impressed me as a guy who responds when he's feeling the heat in the kitchen. So I will go with Minnesota there. So in terms of ranking these selections, Eagles #1, like way up there, past the screen, outside of the camera's range. Number 2 would be, believe it or not, Washington. Number 3 would be the LA Chargers. Number 4 would be then, we'll go with the Minnesota Vikings. And did I miss anybody here? Oh, and then number 5 would be actually the Giants, the Sunday night game, because that would be the least of my favorite games. So that'll do it for today. Wish you well, and I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow because first round of chemo, don't know if I'll be feeling good. So we'll talk to you soon. Good luck, everybody.